Okay, so our next topic is going to be probability. This video is basically just going to be a review of all the things that you already know about probability. So, a couple of things that are revision from last year. So, sample space is a list of all possible outcomes. One thing to note about sample space is it doesn't matter how often it can occur or the probability that it can occur. All it is a list of outcomes. So if I'm looking at a bag of marbles with, let's say, 3 blue marbles in it, I don't have to write blue 3 times, but blue is on my list of outcomes. Next up, we have an event, okay? So an event is any possible outcome, okay? So if I'm rolling a dice, getting a 4 would be an event, or even something like getting an odd number would be an event. One thing to note here, let's talk about how we find the probability of an event. So the probability, note the way that I'm writing this, guys, probability and then in brackets event is equal to the number of favourable outcomes. By favourable, I mean the ones that we're looking for, divided by total outcomes. Okay, so that's how we find the probability of an event. Alright, next thing I'm going to note is that probabilities are numbers between 0 and 1. Alright, so I'll put this on the next line. They can be written as fractions, decimals, or percentages. Okay, so if there's a 50-50 chance of something happening, we could say that that is 1/2. We could say that the probability is 0.5, or we could say 50%. Any of those would be considered correct. So we might actually draw ourselves a little bit of a probability line. So, wonderful straight line, Mr. Goodsall. So here we have probability of 0. Here we have a probability of 1. Halfway between, we have a probability of 1/2. There we have a probability of 3/4. And over here we have a probability of 1/4. Note here that I could write 1/4 as 0.25 or 25%. So 0 means that there is no chance that the thing could happen. Literally no chance, okay? That's one thing that a whole lot of people stuff up. For no chance, it means that it is physically impossible for it to happen. It doesn't mean that it's probably never going to happen. It means that there is physically no possible chance that it could happen. Okay? Probability 1 is definite, as in it is going to happen. So, probability of 1/2, we call it a 50-50 chance, okay? There is as much chance as it will happen as won't happen. And then we have a 75% chance that is probable and a 1/4 chance. We often tend to call this unlikely. Okay, so unlikely means it's probably not going to happen, but it could happen every now and then. Obviously, you can get numbers in between this. I could have a probability of 1 in 10 or 0.1. That's entirely possible. These aren't the only possible outcomes. Okay, these are just examples of numbers on this number line. So, today's quote. Let's say courage is having, what is courage? Courage is being able to stand up and speak. Courage is also sometimes having to sit down and listen.